Imagine a country in West Africa, long overshadowed by poverty, foreign debt, and dependency on imported goods, suddenly becoming the epicenter of a grassroots economic revolution. Today, Burkina Faso is rewriting the rules of African development, and the world is watching. At the heart of this transformation is President Ibrahim Traoré, a leader whose bold vision for a 100% local economy is not just shaking up the foundations of his own nation, but also inspiring a new wave of African economic independence. What does it really mean to build an economy powered entirely by local production, free from the grip of foreign aid and neocolonial influence? Can Burkina Faso's model become the blueprint for the rest of Africa? As you follow this story, ask yourself, could your country thrive without foreign loans, and what would it take to achieve true economic sovereignty? Share your thoughts in the comments below as we explore the remarkable story of Burkina Faso's transformation. Ibrahim Traoré's rise to power in Burkina Faso marked a turning point not just for the country, but for the entire West African region. Since assuming office, Traoré has made it clear that his vision is rooted in self-reliance, local empowerment, and a total break from the cycles of dependency that have held back African economies for generations. His economic reforms are as radical as they are practical, targeting the heart of what has kept Burkina Faso and much of Africa underdeveloped: the export of raw materials, reliance on imported goods, and the stifling influence of international financial institutions like the IMF and World Bank. Before we continue, a quick reminder to like this video if you're enjoying the content so far, and don't forget to subscribe to African Finance Watch, your go-to source for Africa's economic insights and business opportunities, trends and investment opportunities. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest updates. Now, let's continue. Traoré's commitment to a 100% local economy is more than a slogan. It is a comprehensive strategy. He has taken the unprecedented step of rejecting all new loans from the IMF and World Bank, declaring that Burkina Faso will chart its own path without the strings attached to foreign aid. This move, while controversial, has resonated deeply with many Africans who see the conditionalities of Western loans as a modern form of economic colonization. Traoré's stance is not just about financial independence, it is about reclaiming the right to set national priorities, invest in people, and build industries that serve local needs first. One of the most striking examples of this grassroots economic revolution is the transformation of Burkina Faso's agriculture sector. Under Traoré's leadership, the country has launched a wave of locally manufactured agricultural machinery, from tractors to harvesters, designed and built entirely by Burkinabe engineers and technicians. The Sugoma workshop in Ouagadougou's Sougma district has become the beating heart of this initiative, producing grinders, shellers, and choppers tailored to the needs of local farmers. This shift to homegrown solutions is not just about pride, it is about survival. For decades, Burkina Faso's dependence on imported farm equipment drained national resources and left farmers vulnerable to global price shocks. Now, with 100% locally produced machinery, Burkina Faso is boosting food security, lowering costs, and proving that African innovation can solve African problems. The impact of this agricultural revolution is already visible in the numbers. Between 2022 and 2024, tomato production in Burkina Faso soared from 315,000 metric tons to 360,000, while millet and rice production also saw significant increases. These gains are not accidental. They are the direct result of government investment in modern tools, improved seeds, and rural infrastructure. Traoré's administration has distributed hundreds of tractors, tillers, and motor pumps to farmers, ensuring that even the most remote communities have access to the resources they need to thrive. The result is a new sense of confidence and dignity among Burkinabe farmers, who are now feeding their own nation and contributing to a growing surplus for export. But Traoré's vision for a 100% local economy goes far beyond agriculture. He has set his sights on breaking the age-old pattern of exporting raw materials and importing finished goods, a pattern that has kept Africa at the bottom of global value chains. Nowhere is this shift more evident than in the tomato paste industry. For years, Burkina Faso's rich tomato harvests were sold cheaply to international buyers, while the country imported expensive, often inferior, tomato paste from abroad. In 2023, Traoré inaugurated the nation's first tomato processing plants, turning local produce into high-quality paste for domestic and regional markets. The Sobto plant in Bobo Dioulasso, for example, now produces up to 100 tons of tomato paste per day, employing scores of local workers and supporting thousands of farmers. This focus on local processing is a game-changer for Burkina Faso's economy. By keeping more of the value chain within the country, Traoré's reforms are creating jobs, raising incomes, and reducing the trade deficit. The tomato paste industry is just the beginning. Similar investments are being made in cotton, gold, and other key sectors, with the aim of transforming Burkina Faso from a raw material exporter into a hub of African industrialization. The country's new cotton processing plants, supported by international partners like the OPEC Fund, are expanding capacity and ensuring that more of the profits from white gold stay in Burkina Faso. This model of local production Africa is now being closely watched by neighboring countries, many of which remain trapped in the cycle of exporting raw resources and importing finished goods. A cornerstone of Traoré's economic reforms is the nationalization and local control of Burkina Faso's mineral wealth. For decades, foreign companies dominated the gold mining sector, extracting vast profits while leaving little behind for the Burkinabe people. Traoré has reversed this trend by renegotiating contracts, nationalizing key mines, and banning the export of unrefined gold to Europe. Instead, Burkina Faso now processes its gold domestically, adding value and ensuring that the wealth generated from its resources is reinvested in public infrastructure, healthcare, and education. The inauguration of a state-of-the-art gold refinery in 2023 was a symbolic and practical step toward economic sovereignty Africa has long aspired to achieve. Traoré's approach to governance is as revolutionary as his economic policies. In a move rarely seen in African politics, he slashed the salaries of ministers and parliamentarians by 30%, while raising civil servants' wages by 50%. This redistribution of wealth from the political elite to the working backbone of the state has won him widespread support among ordinary Burkinabés. It is a clear signal that the era of privilege for the few, at the expense of the many, is over. By paying off local debts and clearing $4.7 billion in external debt, Traoré has freed up resources for investment in schools, hospitals, and roads, laying the foundation for long-term development. The results of these reforms are already being felt across the country. Burkina Faso's GDP has surged from $18.8 billion to $22.1 billion in just 2 years, a testament to the power of self-reliance and local empowerment Africa so desperately needs. The country's industrial and agricultural revolution stands in stark contrast to the stagnation seen in many other African nations that remain dependent on foreign aid and external markets. Traoré's model is proving that it is possible to achieve robust economic growth, even in the face of security challenges and global economic headwinds. Traoré's revolution is not just economic. It is cultural and political as well. He has banned the wearing of British-style legal wigs and gowns in local courts, replacing them with traditional Burkinabe attire. This symbolic move is part of a broader effort to reclaim African identity and pride, challenging the lingering effects of neocolonialism that have shaped everything from education to governance. Traoré's Pan-African leadership is inspiring a new generation of Africans to believe in their own capacity for innovation, resilience, and self-determination. Burkina Faso's transformation under Traoré is also reshaping the country's place in the region. By prioritizing inter-African trade agreements and reducing dependency on international markets, Traoré is fostering a more resilient and integrated Sahel. The creation of the National Economic Transformation Plan, NETP, is driving investments in infrastructure, education, and healthcare, while supporting small and medium-sized enterprises to stimulate innovation and entrepreneurship. These efforts are not only enhancing productivity and creating jobs, but also raising living standards for millions of Burkinabés. Of course, such sweeping reforms are not without their critics. Some analysts warn that rejecting international financial institutions could limit Burkina Faso's access to much-needed development capital. Others caution that state-led industrialization must avoid the pitfalls of inefficiency and corruption that have plagued similar efforts elsewhere in Africa. Yet, for many Burkinabés and Africans across the continent, Traoré's willingness to challenge the status quo and pursue a path of no foreign aid economy is a breath of fresh air. It is a bold experiment in grassroots economic revolution that is already yielding tangible results. The story of Burkina Faso's tomato paste industry encapsulates the broader transformation underway. For years, imported tomato paste flooded local markets, undermining local farmers and draining foreign exchange. Now, with the launch of domestic processing plants, locally made tomato paste is poised to dominate the market, replacing imports and keeping profits within the country. This shift is about more than food. It is about dignity, self-reliance, and the belief that African solutions can meet African needs. Traoré's agricultural revolution is also empowering women and youth, who are often the backbone of rural communities. By investing in community-based enterprises and supporting grassroots entrepreneurship, the government is ensuring that the benefits of growth are widely shared. The Agency for the Promotion of Community Entrepreneurship, APEC, has played a key role in funding new processing plants and supporting local innovation. These initiatives are creating thousands of jobs, building skills, and laying the groundwork for a new generation of Burkinabé entrepreneurs. The broader implications of Traoré's model are profound. In a world where Africa is often seen as a perpetual recipient of aid and a supplier of raw materials, Burkina Faso is showing that another path is possible. By focusing on local production, value addition, and economic sovereignty, the country is challenging the structures of anti-neocolonial Africa and setting a new standard for what is possible. The African Revolution 2025 is not just a slogan, it is a lived reality in Burkina Faso, where local empowerment and self-reliance are driving a new era of prosperity. As you reflect on this story, consider what it would mean for your own country to embrace a 100% local economy. Could you imagine a future where your nation produces what it needs, adds value to its resources, and invests in its people first? What lessons can the rest of Africa, and indeed the world, learn from Burkina Faso's experience? Is the Traoré development model the key to unlocking true African industrialization and economic sovereignty? Let us know what you think in the comments. Burkina Faso's journey is far from over. The challenges of security, infrastructure, and global competition remain real. But the progress made in just a few years under Traoré's leadership is undeniable. The country's transformation from a debt-laden, aid-dependent economy to a model of local production. Africa is a testament to the power of vision, leadership, and the collective will of a people determined to shape their own destiny. In the end, the revolution underway in Burkina Faso is not just about economics. It is about reclaiming agency, building dignity, and forging a new path for Africa's future. As the world watches, one thing is clear. The age of African economic independence has begun, and Burkina Faso is leading the way. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to African Finance Watch for more in-depth content on Africa's economy and investment opportunities. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when our next video drops.